Hello, I'm Rachel Knutton. I'm the CEO of Alluvia Studio, and we are a sponsor of LSI Asia for the second time. And we have a Medtech marketing agency based outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I just want to start and share some inspiration, I guess. If you're an investor or a strategic in the audience, I'd love to know if what I'm saying resonates with you. And if you're an innovator or someone who's presenting your story, I'd just love you to have a couple of takeaways that might help your presentations. I'm starting here with a picture of Yellowstone, beautiful river, and actually the site where you can still find gold. Just little flecks of gold, not really adding up to much value today, but people still venture there with pans and hope to find some gold. I bring that up because when you think about the gold rush that happened in the 1800s in the United States and California, about 300,000 people ended up venturing to California to try to strike it rich. $2 billion actually of wealth was created, but it was probably only by about 1% of the people. So the question is, what happened? What happened to all the other people? It's a little bit like our business. They say, I hope this isn't true, but they say 5,000 device concepts that are pursued, one reaches commercialization. And I hope that's not true for anybody in the room. I hope that you're actually making it. But what our job is at Alluvia is to help you find the gold in your story. Because we really believe that if you're not extracting the gold, which is the value that you're bringing to your clients through how you talk and present your content, you're leaving opportunity on the table and other people might get there before you. So we use a process. Everything we do is sort of built around this gold theme because our company is based on a type of gold. Define, refine, shine. And what we see a lot is people coming to us looking for a brochure or a website or a logo. And that's the shine part, that's the pretty part. But what we think is really important is making sure that you've done the define and the refine process before you get to shine. Because just like gold, it doesn't have any value until you've processed it and turned it into something valuable. So when I think about the define process, I feel like really mapping out where you have value, what your customers need, where your competition is, and being very, very clear on what is that very unique spot that only you can own. That's really defining your value proposition. And it takes work and it takes team effort to really have the discipline to map that out. There's a tendency to want to be everything to everybody, or we check all the boxes, and sometimes that's not true and not necessary. When you think about gold again, it takes 30 tons of rock to get 1 ounce of gold. You wouldn't go to your audience or your investor and hand them a rock and say, here, you get the gold out of it. The investor or the audience wants you to do that for them. And so that's why the refine process is so important. It's finding out what's not adding value and removing it so you get to the gold. And in the typical gold refining process, you apply a lot of heat to it. The heat brings out the impurities in the gold so that it can become stronger and more valuable. This is the hardest part that we see with founders in particular, because you have lived, breathed, shed blood, tears to get to all of the details that make up your unique value proposition, your unique innovation. But you've got to find that thing that really makes your story the strongest and have the discipline to, I think the saying is, murder your darlings along the way so that people really remember what your key message is. Do that. Now we're getting to the part where you've got some usable gold and we're ready to shine. And at Alluvia Studio, we can help you through all phases of that process, and we really like to help you get to the most meaningful part of your story and make sure the money you spend on your marketing is put to the best use possible. I have a table right out here outside of the door. I'd love to share more information. And I also have a free brand foundation toolkit that I'm happy to email you. It's 20 pages and it just condenses a lot of the information, the process we go through. So if you can't afford an agency, we would love to just provide that for you to do it yourself. Thank you very much.